Assalamualaikum and greetings to Madam Bani and my fellow classmates. My name is Nur Amna Mardia and today I will present a case study titled Navigating Bilingualism, a case study on an 11-year-old's English language acquisition. This research was carried out as part of the TSLB 3293 course on children and languages. Today, I will take you through the journey of a young bilingual learner, Child A, and we will explore how she navigates learning English in a bilingual Malay-English environment. The presentation will integrate both theoretical and practical insights and conclude with specific recommendations for improving bilingual education experiences. This presentation will be divided into several main parts: the background and context of the case study, the problem statement, a theoretical analysis, discussion and findings, followed by recommendations and a conclusion. Moving on. Moving on to the introductions and objectives. The purpose of this case study is to critically explore the English language acquisition journey of an 11-year-old child in a bilingual setting. The child in question, whom I refer to as Child A, lives in a Malay-dominant household and environment. While she receives formal English instruction at school, her real-world exposure to English outside the classroom is very limited. Our objective for this study were firstly, to investigate the primary factors influencing her English language acquisition. Secondly, to analyze the role of bilingualism in her cognitive, social, and academic development. Third, to evaluate how different teaching strategies and environment impact her English proficiency. And finally, to provide recommendations that support and enhance her bilingual learning journey. This case study used qualitative methods, including interviews and observations, and was interpreted using several established language acquisition theories, such as Krashen, Vygotsky, and Long's theories. Moving on to the next slide. Let's look at the background of Child A. She is 11 years old and lives in a village environment where Malay is the primary language spoken both at home and in her community. Her parents and siblings mostly use Malay, so English exposure outside of school is very minimal. She began learning English formally in year 1 and has shown gradual improvement, especially in reading and listening. Her speaking ability, however, is limited, and she often struggles with pronunciation and vocabulary recall. Key influence on her learning include her parents, who play a passive role, her school, which provides structured instructions, her teacher, who act as guides, her peers, who serve as informal collaborators, and media, which provides that indirect exposure through YouTube videos, cartoons, and educational content. Interestingly, Child A enjoys activities such as role-playing in class, which allow her to practice English. It's fun, low-stress situation. However, she still lacks the confidence to use English spontaneously. Okay, moving on to the first question. What language do you usually speak at home? And bahasa apa yang awak selalu cakap kat rumah?
Bahasa Melayu.
Selalu bahasa Melayu. Okay. Selalu cakap dengan siapa?
Dengan adik.
Adik dengan family lah kan?
Okay.
Lepas tu, what language did you learn first when you were little? Maknanya dari kecil selalu awak belajar bahasa apa?
Bahasa Melayu.
Bahasa Melayu. Okay. When did you start learning English? Maknanya dari sejak bila awak start belajar bahasa Inggeris ni?
Tahun 1.
Next question. Do you use English outside of school? Ada tak awak guna bahasa Inggeris kat luar sekolah? Selain sekolah?
Jarang-jarang.
Selalunya cakap dengan siapa?
Bahasa Inggeris.
Okay, so from the video, you can see from the video, it shows the evidence that the answer reflect the village setting, the limited English use of child A and primary exposure through school, as described just now. Okay, moving on to the next slide, which is the problem statement. The main challenge faced by child A is difficulty in speaking English, particularly with pronunciation and fluency. She experiences anxiety and hesitates to speak due to fear of making mistakes. This is a crucial issue because oral proficiency is one of the most important aspects of language acquisition, especially in educational contexts where English is the medium of instructions. Without confidence in speaking, children can feel left behind or unable to participate fully in classroom interactions. Her difficulty arises from several overlapping factors: interference from Malay, which is her mother tongue, limited opportunities to speak English outside of class, and the internalized fear of being corrected or laughed at. These issues align with what we know from existing research on second language acquisition, especially in bilingual learners. The case of Child A represents a broader challenge faced by many Malaysian students. Okay, let's watch this video.
Awak rasa belajar English ni susah ke senang?
Susah sikit lah.
Susah sikit. Kenapa?
Ada perkataan yang tak faham.
Next, what is the hardest thing about learning English for you? Such as speaking, reading, writing, grammar and pronunciation. Mana yang paling susah?
Speaking.
Have you ever felt nervous or shy about speaking English? Ada tak? Ada. Kenapa awak rasa malu?
Kalau salah tu.
Takut salah. Awak rasa belajar English ni susah ke?
Okay, as from this video, it shows that the problem of low fluency, pronunciation struggles, and confidence issue somehow affect the students' fluency and it also affect her to speak in English confidently. Okay, moving on to the next slide, which is theoretical framework. So as in this slide, we will explore the theoretical lens through which I analyze child A's experience. The first theory I used was Creation's second language acquisition theory, particularly the idea of comprehensible input and the affective filter. Creation argues that language input should be slightly above the learner's current level and delivered in a low anxiety setting. In child A's case, classroom lessons and YouTube videos provide comprehensible input, but her anxiety about speaking raises the affective filter and limits language acquisition. The second theory is Vygotsky zone of proximal development. This theory states that children learn best when guided by a more knowledgeable peer or adult. Scaffolding is crucial. In child A's situation, her teacher's role in guided discussions and her peers' involvement in role-playing helps bridge the gap between what she knows and what she can achieve. The third theory is Long's interaction hypothesis. According to Long, meaningful interaction in the target language promotes language development. Unfortunately, child A's interactions in English is mostly classroom bound and not spontaneous. This limits her ability to practice and internalize new structures. Finally, Swain's output hypothesis stressed the importance of producing language. Learners must use the language, not just understand it. Without enough speaking practice, child A finds it difficult to organize her thoughts in English.
Who helps you when you have trouble in English?
Cikgu.
Have you ever felt nervous or shy about speaking English? Ada tak? Ada. Kenapa awak rasa malu?
Kalau salah tu.
What makes you feel more confident when speaking English? Ada kawan bagi support semangat ke? Ada, selalu diorang akan support kita lah macam go Fasihah gitu. Okay. What activity when the teacher do and it attracts you? Apa yang aktiviti yang cikgu buat, teacher buat, awak rasa seronoknya? Gallery walk ke, ada tak? Buat essay ke?
Waktu time kena suruh macam berlakon.
Berlakon. Oh, suka role play. Macam dia buat dalam kumpulan lah, macam bagi kumpulan. Berapa orang satu grup?
Kadang-kadang 4 atau 2.
Contoh tak kena berlakon apa?
Macam pergi restoran.
Oh, cara nak order apa semua macam tu. Who helps you when
From the video, I believe that it shows the importance of peer or teacher, scaffolding, and real communication scenarios. Moving on to the next slide, which is translanguaging and code switching. Let's now discuss how child A uses translanguaging and code switching. She often switches between Malay and English when speaking. For example, saying, "Can I borrow your eraser lah?" This blending of language helps her maintaining communication flow, but also reflects her reliance on Malay structures. Translanguaging helps learners navigate complex ideas using all their linguistic resources. However, unstructured code switching can sometimes slow down full English proficiency. To support child A, structured translanguaging is recommended, where Malay is used temporarily for support, but with gradual emphasis on using English independently. Okay, let's watch this video.
next, have you ever mixed your language when you are speaking? Macam ada tak awak campur-campur cakap macam bahasa rojak? Ada. Contoh. Dengan kawan-kawan ke teacher?
Kawan. Cakap,
Weh, do you want to buy burger lah? Macam tu ada?
ada.
Lagi-lagi? Korang?
Kalau nak pinjam barang,
Cakap macam mana? Can I borrow?
can I borrow your warna?
Okay.
Okay, so this video showed the direct evidence for code switching practices, enhancing comfort but possibly slowing child A's English fluency. Okay, moving on to the next. Okay. When we analyze Child's A learning behavior, several patterns emerge. She is a passive receiver of English. She reads and listens but rarely speaks. The lack of spontaneous speaking environments outside of school hinders her output development, as she cannot practice with her peers to enhance her speaking skills. And the next one, her high anxiety explains through prescience affective filters, which creates a psychological barrier that stops her from attempting to speak English, even when she knows the correct words. Furthermore, without daily use, her vocabulary remains limited, which affects pronunciation, sentence constructions, and overall confidence. This highlights the importance of encouraging active language use in both academic and informal settings so that they can practice and enhance their speaking skills, especially in English. Okay, let's watch this video.
What is the hardest thing about learning English for you? Such as speaking, reading, writing, grammar and pronunciation. Mana yang paling susah? Speaking paling susah. Have you ever felt nervous or shy about speaking English? Ada tak? Ada. Nampak orang rasa malu?
Kalau salah tu.
Takut salah. Next question. Do you use English outside of school? Ada tak awak guna bahasa Inggeris kat luar sekolah? Selain sekolah?
Jarang-jarang.
What is the hardest thing about...
Okay, so this video shows supports the idea that passive learning dominates real life. English use is minimal and anxiety is high. The next one. Let's summarize the key findings. The first one, speaking remains the most challenging skills for child A, and the next one, interactive learning activities like role playing significantly improve her comfort level, Peer support and teacher scaffolding lower her anxiety and help her to take the risk. And her intrinsic motivation, which she wants to become a doctor, is a strong driver for learning English. So, these findings show that while structural challenges exist, personal motivation and the right teaching environment can enhance language acquisition. Let's watch this video.
What is the hardest thing about learning English for you? Such as speaking, reading, writing, grammar and pronunciation. Mana yang paling susah? Speaking paling susah. What makes you feel more confident when speaking English? Ada kawan bagi support semangat ke? Ada selalu diorang akan support kita lah macam go Fasihah macam tu. Okay. What activity when the teacher do and it attracts you? Apa yang aktiviti yang cikgu buat, teacher buat awak rasa seronoknya? Dia dari walk ke, ada tak? Buat essay ke?
Waktu time kena suruh macam berlakon.
Oh, suka role play. Macam cerita-cerita ke nak jadi bila besar nanti? Ada awak nak jadi apa?
Saya jadi doktor.
Doktor, wah.
Okay, so these responses connect to findings on motivation, peer support, and the value of interactive methods. Let's move on to the next slide, which is the influences on child's English acquisition. This chart visually represents the different sources of language support for child aid. The schools plays the largest role, followed by peers and media. Unfortunately, family support is less active. This could be due to their limited English proficiency in the family and the community. So these visuals reinforce the need to promote more home-based English activities and increase parental engagement. Let's watch this video.
What do you do when you don't understand something in English?
Tanya teacher.
Ada cari kat kamus ke? Tak ada.
Kadang-kadang.
Kadang-kadang cari dalam kamus lah. Okay. If you could change one thing about how you learn English, what would it be? Maksudnya macam selain awak belajar kat sekolah kan, awak ada tak cara nak ubah cara belajar bahasa Inggeris ni? Macam apa ni awak nak ubah? Macam nak belajar through YouTube video ke, kan, game ke? Awak ada tak macam awak nak ubah cara belajar bahasa Inggeris ni selain belajar kat sekolah, dalam konteks, dalam kelas?
Tengok video.
Video YouTube. Awak ada favourite channel ke, influencer ke, blogger? Tak ada. Okay. Selalu awak tengok video apa kat YouTube? Jarang.
Tengok Popoy.
Boy.
Kadang-kadang tengok cerita nak belajar juga.
Cerita nak belajar. Oh, macam dia memang untuk pelajaran lah channel tu. Contohnya macam tu, channel apa?
Channel dia ajar kita.
Oh, memang dia fokus untuk belajar lah maknanya.
Okay, so I believe that this demonstrates the mixed input sources, school, media, teachers, and influence on learning by learning through YouTube or media and some educational videos for child aid. Okay, the next one. As for the recommendations, based on my findings, daily conversation in English at school and home is important in order to improve their language proficiency. The next one, role-playing and storytelling activities that are structured and engaging should be applied in classroom for the students to engage and attract them in participating in the classroom, especially for English subject. The next one, the use of English language media such as cartoons, music, and interactive games. For example, the teacher should do interactive game like quizzes, Kahoot, and play music, especially the trending ones that the students should know, and the teachers can do activities like fill in the blank for the music lyrics, the song lyrics, and so on. And the next one, teachers should create a supportive learning environment where errors are part of growth, not failure. So teachers should encourage the students to not laugh at their friends when they do the mistakes, but ask them to support their friends by cheering up their friends when they are trying to answer the question. So the last one, I believe that connecting English learning to real life aspirations, such as just now, child A, she wants to become a doctor. So simulating medical scenarios in class to align with child A's dream of becoming a doctor can be applied in the classroom. Okay, let's watch this video.
What activity when the teacher do and it attracts you? Apa yang aktiviti yang cikgu buat, teacher buat awak rasa seronoknya? Gallery walk ke, ada tak? Buat essay ke?
Waktu time kena suruh macam berlakon.
Berlakon. Oh, suka role play. Contoh tak kena berlakon apa?
Macam pergi restoran.
Oh, cara nak order apa semua macam tu. Nak belajar through YouTube video ke, kan? Game ke. Awak ada tak macam mana? Ubah cara belajar bahasa Inggeris ni selain belajar kat sekolah, dalam konteks, dalam kelas?
Tengok video.
Video YouTube. Awak ada favourite channel ke, influencer ke?
Tak ada.
Blogger? Tak ada. Okay. Selalu awak tengok video apa kat YouTube? Jarang?
Tengok apa-apa.
Apa boy?
Kadang-kadang tengok cerita nak belajar juga.
Cerita nak belajar. Oh, macam dia memang untuk pelajaran lah channel tu. Contohnya macam mana tu? Channel apa?
Channel dia ajar kita.
Oh, memang dia fokus untuk belajar lah. So, next question. Do you have any fun ways that you use to remember new English word? Maksudnya ada tak cara yang menarik macam bagi awak untuk senang nak ingat kata English yang baru? Awak ulang cakap-cakap banyak kali ke? Awak guna dengan adik awak ke? Ulang dengan kawan-kawan? Awak ada cita-cita ke nak jadi bila besar nanti? Ada. Awak nak jadi apa?
Saya jadi doktor.
Doktor, wah. Semoga awak dapat capai impian awak. Saya doakan. Doktor. Okay. So kan, kau nak jadi doktor. Do you think learning English will help you to achieve your dream job? Okay, English ni membantu lah kan kalau awak nak jadi doktor in the future. Nampak rasa English ni membantu nak jadi doktor nanti?
Kalau ada orang luar negara yang tak reti cakap, kenalah cakap bahasa Inggeris dia.
Betul.
Okay, so as from these interviews, it supports suggestions like role play, media use, and career-oriented English learning. Moving on to the last one, which is the conclusion. To conclude, this case study demonstrates that bilingual learners like Child A face specific but manageable challenges. By using the right combinations of theory-informed strategies and emotional support, we can help learners build both proficiency and confidence. This research is not just about learning English, it's about empowering children to participate meaningfully in school and society while respecting and preserving their first language and identity. So I would like to thank for your attention, and moving on to the last slide, which is the references. This slide lists the core references used in the study. Full citations are available in the written report. They include foundational works by Christian, Vygotsky, Long, and Swain, along with recent research on Malaysian ESL learning. And with that, I end my presentation. Thank you.